intense, right? So things are going to get a little more intense from here on. Now you're very relaxed. You've had some smiles exchange. You've looked at your life, right? So now we'll go to the next section, which is actually deciding to change, deciding to improve. Now that you've had a better look at the wheel of your life and at everything that's going on, and then we'll go into a bit on the science of transformation and change, right? What can actually help you to change, and the second thing that's even more important is what can help you sustain that change. So we're going into that phase where we take all the data that you have already accumulated by going deeper, by discussing in your groups. And now we're going to try and see what really can make these changes last. So before we do that, quick understanding from the wheel of life. How did you feel? How do you think it went? What was some of the aha moments from the wheel of the life? What did you feel you're ignoring? I had some really nice, interesting comments, but overall, anybody who wants to share? Yeah. Okay, Jan, love for us, both of you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the thing I want to share is that because I was also
Jan.
doing this session around 6 months ago, right? And now my ratings are much better than before.
Yes.
If we don't do it again,
Well
then
done.
you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
That's something interesting. Probably that's something you want to do it on a half-yearly basis or something. Because last time we were mentioning about 6 month plan, and now it is around this one.
Nice, nice. And what was the main ingredient of that improvement? What helped you? What was the recipe? What changed?
Back then, I was very low on emotional situation.
Yeah.
And also intimate relationship. Both has been improved significantly, and that's not because of I found someone or whatever.
Yeah.
It's more that you know what you want, you know your grounding, and then you have more confidence about what you want, and then you also improve time allocation, for example, and physical body, more workouts, etc. And the in general situation got better. I think the ranking of everything goes higher now.
Very nice. The first?
I actually wanted to say the same thing. My wheel's much more balanced after the first session from 6 months ago.
Nice.
I'm actually focusing on different spheres now compared to 6 months ago. I'm not 100% the one where I want to be yet.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely halfway there.
Yeah. It's very good to know that your wheels have improved since the last session. So thank you for also mentioning it. Okay. Who feels still quite shaky? And let's be very honest here and truthful. Who feels still very shaky about their wheel? You know where to improve, but you don't see exactly how you can improve there. The daunting areas are still daunting. You just don't see it happening very practically. Stefan?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, I just saw something very clear, but I don't know if I'm still living in an illusion or whether that's actually
Nice.
actually productive. Because I was saying that my time is a 2,
Yeah.
existent, and my physical body is a 6, and I wanted to get it to an 8. But it's not so much that I want it to be physically strong. When I see myself being physically strong, I see myself also being more disciplined and full in action.
Yeah.
Energy, which money is now 2, and
Yeah.
the physical body will lead me to the time management, and the physical body and the extra energy will help me. I can put that into generating earnings.
Right.
But I don't know then if I'm already, the money thing is what I'm trying to escape. And I already know now that I've put 2 things in front of the money.
Yeah.
I need the time and the physical energy to
Right.
engage with the money. But I can do that also without those things. So maybe I'm just
So it's very connected.
keeping it.
Yeah, no, but the thing is you're quite conscious, right? And the areas are also very related. So you cannot really keep one totally separate. You cannot keep physical body separate from emotional because or the first thing I said, right, or I didn't mention it yet, physiology affects emotions a lot. What happens to somebody who's sad, upset, depressed, anxious, right? You'll see the shoulders drop, the head is drop, you're speaking slowly, you're talking slowly, right? And a very good way of changing state is changing physiology. We'll talk about that, how to change state. So the next 1 hour, I want us to really focus, and I'm fairly sure if we can focus this 1 hour, I'll give you some tools and some things to think about, and I'll make it very transparent and clear what needs to change to get somewhere where you want, right? Now let me tell you what's the word that I heard the most when I was walking around and you were discussing. And this word was said more than other words by a proportion of 5:1 or 7:1. Any guesses what that word was? when you were discussing your views of life, there was this particular word that kept coming on and on.
Was it trying?
Close, but it wasn't trying. Sorry? Getting closer. Wow, I'm really surprised that you're. I thought you would have no idea. Okay? No. Sorry? Balance? No. What was
Enough?
enough? No.
Hoping.
Helping? No.
Hoping.
Hoping? No. I'll tell you. The word was should. Not everybody, eavesdropping on everybody all the time. But the constant word was, I should do this. Maybe if I should this, then should happen. Maybe I should have done it before.
Yeah. Because then it's like you lay the control outside of you, and it's something you should do for whom? Not for yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe for the.
Not necessarily, right? I can say I should do this just for myself,
Okay, yeah.
right? But the word that kept coming up was should. Now, here's the truth about our day and age. If something is a should, it will not happen. There's a funny thing I heard. It says most people take it lightly, don't take it at heart. Might pinch a bit. Most people should all over themselves. They're full of shoulds. I should do this, I should go there, I should talk to this person, right? So shoulds. What needs to be in place of should? Could, would like.
Will.
Okay, we are getting better. So will like,
Should.
have, be, closer, getting closer.
We did it once before.
We did it once before. Miri, you know it.
What?
Want is too vague.
Like desire.
I want everything. I want good weather. I am. So then there is nothing to do, right?
Oh, then it's still.
It will only work when your should becomes a must. As long as it's not a must, you can keep shooting over for a very long time. So we'll go into the science of transformation, what makes transformation possible and what makes transformation sustainable. Your question? You don't like the word must?
No, I also don't know.
Okay. That's why when I started the session, the first thing I said was, don't get hung up on the words. So you know what I
Well,
mean.
but you're making it about the word.
True.
We are getting hung up on it.
True,
I
true.
think because must has the same character as should, more intense, which like you are about the intensity, but
Correct.
it still can have a lot of negative, like, oh, I must do this.
Yeah.
It needs to be done. I have to.
Yeah.
Some escape. Must doesn't.
Right. And that's the intensity. So the character I get, but the must still.
I hear you, but we'll go
Yeah.
there. But yeah, again, I'll try to show you
Mm.
how not to get there. And the other thing is, again, I started by appreciating the awareness level in this room. I don't think anybody's going to misinterpret the must as, like something else. But it's a very good point. We'll also see what are the downsides of the must, right? But at least let's start with the fact that something needs to be very clear or something needs to be really important for us to make it a must, right? So change or transformation, right? The first thing is you need to be very clear why the situation you are in is causing you pain. So why is it painful? Now, again, I would invite you to think a little bigger than yourself here, right? We are again in that space where I think in this room we can think a little bigger. So probably most of you have your basic needs met. You're doing quite well. So maybe for you nothing is a must. But if you think of what your current limitation is causing not only you but everybody around you, maybe your family, it can be your community, it can be the world, right? So let's say somebody has the potential to be a great teacher, a great healer. However, just because they cannot manage their time and they are not in an emotionally good state, they cannot help the others. So the point is, how passionate or how important is it for you to actually change? If it's not, it's fine. So then it's not a must. Again, your must is something that you define. Is it a must or not? What I want to do here is I want to create a lot of transparency in your head about what's your situation. And then you decide it's your life, right? So let's take an example. Someone here, what is that one thing that you really want and must achieve? Very strong. Like, this is my calling. This is my passion. This is what I deserve to be. This is what the world can get from me, but I'm not doing it. So I want to do it. So I want an example like that in the room. Anybody wants to share something that you feel is a must for you? So it can be any suffering that you're going through, or it can be something where you feel that you really should be that person and you're just not going there for some reasons. Can I share what I heard about your money? So I just overheard their discussion, and she said my money is a 10. And then she said that my money, and then I said that, yeah, can you lend me some? And then she clarified where she said that, so the amount of money that I need at this moment, I feel I have, right? So I don't see a gap. That's why it's a 10. So it's what you feel. So it's your wheel again. So maybe after balancing a lot of areas, you feel that this is what's missing. I should be more loving, maybe towards myself, towards the world. You said. Any other example? Thank you for sharing. Something that you feel you really want to achieve. Yes.
Like become a parent.
Become parents. So the first thing that's needed when you decide on an outcome, and it becomes tricky in this field, but is you have to have a certain timeline in mind, right? Like I can want to become a parent as soon as possible, in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. So you have to decide when do you want to make to become a parent, because on top of everything stands this clarity is power. So the first thing is a destination. What do I want? Have a clear destination. If you know your clear destination, it's way easier, right? You can find the way to get there. If you don't know your destination, you're all over the place. The second thing that you must, or is super important, is why. So the why is the emotions that fuel you in your path towards that destination. The why determines if you can sustain, because there are going to be challenges in the path. So if your why is very clear, you're going to fight against the challenges, atrocities, or whatever comes in your way and reach. Is it okay if I ask you the whys, why you want to be a parent?
Yeah, but I think that's a super hard question because I just feel. So yeah, I feel like it will be nice to have a family that you can share things with.
That's very clear. It's a very, very clear reason, right? Share things. How would it make you feel? You feel. Forget the family for the moment.
I guess like home.
What will it inspire you to do more? Think
Think,
six, drive, think six needs.
I think it would be healthy to take a bit more time for myself and my own life. Maybe a family that you cannot ignore, that you have to spend time on this. So it will
Will it inspire you to
calibrate me a little bit.
any other emotion you think? Feel. Maybe close your eyes for a second. I know it's difficult. And feel. Feel the moment. Feel you're there. Feel what you're feeling and tell us.
Some like what this wholeness, like it's something like cozy that you have for yourself.
Very beautiful word, cozy.
Yeah.
Can everybody relate to cozy? Right? What she exactly means? Very nice. What else?
It's also a new person, so it's also about like teaching and development and seeing someone go through development.
Yeah.
So it's like an experience that I think you cannot get otherwise.
Yeah. I love that fact. You can't get this otherwise.
We learn from it.
Yeah, so unique experience. So you see a very strong why. However, when I started, then she was like, okay, it's difficult to say. However, 2-3 minutes, and she's come up with a lot of these very strong reasons, which is very relatable. You can feel it. So the more time you give, you've got to come up with very strong whys. So the outcome needs to be clear. The why needs to be clear. If these two are strong, you will figure out a way. What most people do is they have an idea. Okay, parenthood could be good. Let's say somebody who's not in a relationship but wants parenthood, right? They feel parenthood it would be really nice to become a parent. And then what the mind does is, whenever you want something, the first thing that the mind does is it tries to give you a strategy how to get there. The problem with that is the moment you start thinking of strategies, the mind is conditioned to keep you safe. That's the role of the mind. The role of the mind is not to make you super excited, super fulfilled, an achiever, very successful. It constantly looks for security. So when it tries to think of the strategy, it thinks of everything that can come in the way of your outcome. It doesn't tell you the things that would be easy or that are useful. So for a single person, if that person wants to be a parent, the mind will think of a strategy and then they say, okay, first I need a partner. Getting a partner is so difficult. Okay, if I have a partner, then I have to sustain a relationship. Sustaining a relationship is so difficult. And then it's going to go to the past to look for data, right? Maybe the person has not had great relationships in the past. So then the mind has has beautiful new fuel to discourage this person. But who do you think you are, right? You think you're going to become a parent? What has happened to your past relationships? You couldn't sustain a relationship for more than 3 years. How do you think you'll become a parent? So there's this entire saga of excuses and nonsense that starts in the mind if you are not consciously doing this. Because the past does not equal the future. And in most cases, we are affected by it. There's one more thing and I come to you. So the past does not equal the future. Imagine driving a car, looking at the rear view mirror. That's what many of us do. You're looking at the rear view mirror and you're trying to go straight. It's going to be a crash. Many others look at the cars and the drivers on the side and drive. Also a recipe for disaster. Don't compare your life with others, right? Everybody is in a different chapter. Maybe you have started doing something and the person next door has been doing it for 10 years. He's in a different chapter. He's on chapter 17, you're on chapter 1. But you start comparing. Doesn't make sense. Ira, tell me.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if I fully agree with the logic about single people become parents, because I'm single and I want to be a parent.
Yeah.
But I have a very different logic of thinking about it. Of course, ideal situation is that I find a partner who wants kids as well.
Yeah.
And we have kids together. But finding a partner is not one person's job in a way, because there are many other factors. But then my thought becomes, what is the worst case scenario? That if I don't find a partner, but I still want kids, then my solution is that, well, I could just be a single mom. I could find a donor. And then my solution become very easy. That my best case scenario is that I'll just make sure I have enough money that one day when I want to become a parent, I could still just do it. And then I feel super secure because my goal is very clear.
Absolutely.
So I don't get stuck into
I agree with you. I have one question for you,
Yeah.
right? The question is, you won't have the exact number. I will not have the exact number. I'm very happy that you had this thought process and you came up with this strategy, right?
Yeah.
Now, the question is, imagine 1 million people who are single. What percentage of the million people are thinking like you? And what percentage of the million people are likely thinking about me? Best guess. Are there more people thinking like you or are there more people thinking like me?
Everyone lives in a bubble. I would say there's more than 50% of people around me thinking like me. But I'm pretty sure I'm in a bubble. I don't know much about.
Yeah. No, that's right. But
Does it matter? Does it matter?
I think
it doesn't matter. And this was a specific example that I took, right? In general, I mean, the mind thinks about strategies. So being single is an example I made up right now. But in general, I mean, it could be so parenthood is really big, right? It could be something as simple as I want to go to the gym today evening. As simple as that, right? Oh, but I've not gone to the gym for 3 weeks. I had this accident. Maybe I should wait a little more. The weather is not nice. I mean, of course, somebody can go to a gym. I'm saying usually this happens and we need to be careful about that. So just a caution, of
I
course.
think the outcome is different. Like, let's say your ideal family having kids is maybe having 2 parents. But it doesn't matter because our outcome is everybody different. This is not even discussion.
Yeah, but well, I'm just saying that
Those facts well necessarily.
Yeah, but what she's saying is very interesting because she's saying that your outcome can be clearer. She's saying your outcome can be, I want to experience parenthood with another man. I want to experience parenthood with another woman. I want to experience parenthood just by my own. So how clear is your outcome? That's also what is very important.
But isn't the point that it can be an outcome, but it's not like you can achieve it because it's not like you just find someone.
There's also reality check.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, there's present reality check.
Of course, I mean, situations change.
Yeah, I mean, but reality is a very beautiful. We are going to go to reality, right? So we're going to move into reality after this. But these are nuanced things. Let's not go too deep into this. But I think we understand what.
Yeah.
Yes, Miriam.
I think your must change because you have both. You have the desire to actually have it with a partner, become a partner, parents with a partner was your actual must. But because you are realistic, you realize that must is not realistic. So you created another one. But it's a plan B. It's a different must.
Or a should instead of a must.
Exactly.
Or a should. Yeah.
Never a must, probably, but yeah.
But it does not. So in this scenario, your brain actually would go in exactly the same loop because you are probably made a conscious decision to be realistic. You actually went away from that loop and you went more into what can I do actually? Like you were literally telling your brain it does not make sense for me to keep thinking about the partner because but
It's not a must.
It's very nuanced. Let me summarize. It's nuanced, and this is why I was also saying there's a duality. You can go to a situation where you say that this is plan A, this is plan B. Sometimes when there is plan B, plan A fails because there's a plan B. Sometimes when there is no plan B, plan A succeeds. How many relate to this? When you're pushed against a wall, you can do things that you would not have imagined you can do, right?
Because
It's very nuanced, all of these situations. Yeah.
because the architect of Plan B is actually it's trying to sabotage your Plan A because it's too scary. So you think that Plan A and B are both created by someone that has your back, that someone that shares your interest.
Correct.
But Plan B doesn't share your interest. It's only there to sabotage your life.
Long story short, know your outcome. Very important because activity without intention is the biggest drain. Let me ask you this. Out of maybe 20, 25 activities that you perform daily, right? Which could be scrolling on Instagram, which could be actually cooking good food, which could be going to work. How many of these activities has a clear intention? And how many are done in autopilot? That's basically a balance sheet of how conscious you are and how unconscious you are. How much you know your intention and how much are you working towards your intention.
Something consciously, but you know that it's not what you want to do.
You're halfway there. You're at least conscious that this is not what I want to do, but you're still wasting your time maybe. So knowing your outcome, then being conscious is the 100%.
Isn't that because you say clarity is power?
Yeah.
But isn't there beauty in uncertainty? I mean,
So the clarity that you don't want clarity is also power. I'm going on a hike. I look at Emma and I know it's not the Himalayas. I can still come back. So I don't want to know a route. I don't want to take my map on and look at the map. I want it to be uncertain. It's a decision. The point is that's why I use this word intention.
it's like committed.
Yeah. So you decide on something and then you go. Because most people, what's the most common excuse for people to say I cannot change? They say change is a function of conditions. My life is a function of condition. This is what happened. That's why I'm this. Right. And there's so many supporting theories now, of course, which are also important. But change is not a function of condition. It's a matter of decision. Same example I gave last time. How many of us have been in a relationship way too long? We knew it's not working for us. We knew it's not working for our partner. Still, we are in the relationship. Why? Because we care about certainty. And certainty gives us the impression that we can avoid pain, which comes with uncertainty and change. And then one day, it went above a threshold and you decided this is it now. I am going to leave. It was a decision. So how long does it take to make a decision? Instantly, you can make a decision now. So you can change now. That's very important. Takes 10 seconds. Make a decision. That's it. But there's one issue in this statement again, can, right? So as long as it is a can, it's still vague. The moment it becomes a must, then it stays.
Ask you one thing.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah. How do you feel?
Yeah, like sometimes like I try to remind myself of my why, so I try to visualize the
Yeah.
life that I would live.
Yeah.
But then it still remains visualization. I get into a certain state, but it doesn't get me moving because I go out of the now into a present future. I realize it has already happened, which gives me a sense of fulfillment, but not the sense of anger that actually drives me to actually take action now, because then I lost the awareness that my reality now and the actions that I'm taking are not aligned with my future goal.
Very good point. Yeah, there's one small step here. I will tell you. So it's outcomes, it's knowing the why. Then you plan out a how or a map, right? An action plan, how you get there. But you must take one small action. So one small action creates momentum. The issue is we all feel like, okay, we'll start this tomorrow or we will start this next month. But it's a game of momentum. We realize this, right? The moment the ball is rolling, you can do things. So small actions are very important. But we'll discuss this maybe offline because it's a bit, I know your situation is a bit deeper. Let's see if we can touch base on that. So this is very important. Change is not a function of, it's not a matter of conditions, it's a matter of decision. So it's deciding. That's very important. I started with identity. I'll come back now. I'll start connecting a few dots. Something that really helps this is if you can think of your new identity. Because once you know your new identity, if you're consistent with your new identity, you match a lot of dots. So the future state, in some cases, or the future you, think of yourself as that person, right? Let's say I want to be, I'll tell you a small story about identity. I think this will clarify it a lot. I've shared this in the past, but I very recently went to one of the sessions. Ria was also there in Germany. And we had the good fortune of meeting a world champion triathlete, and her name is Siri Langley, right? And very inspiring story, but this is what why I want to share this story with you. So this lady, she was an athlete, but at 23 or 22, she decided she wanted to be a triathlete. So to be a triathlete, you need to run, bike, and swim. And she did not know swimming. So she wants to be a triathlete, but she cannot swim. So she said, okay, but yeah, I can learn. So she starts learning swimming. When she starts getting better, she puts in a lot of effort. She qualifies for the Olympics. Then she fails at the qualifiers and quits from the Olympics. She still keeps trying, picks her up. And then she gets some success, then she fails. She keeps trying continuously. Then she gets to a stage where she comes 30th in a world race, and she realizes that she needs a coach. Without a proper coach, she's not going to make that jump that she's looking for. And sometimes when the student is ready, the coach appears. So in that race where she came 30th, she meets one of the best coaches in the world, and they meet each other. She says, hello, I'm a big fan. And the coach says, I remember you. And she says that, why do you remember me? She says that, because I think you were coming 20, 29, 30th, something around that. But I saw the effort you put to improve one position. So you were going to come 29th, but just to come to 28th instead of 29 to improve that one position, I saw the effort you were putting. And I really appreciate that. So if you want, I can coach you. So she says, oh, wow, very nice. She leaves for Switzerland, joins this person. So this person only teaches national champions and Olympic triathletes. So it's a rigorous training. After 7 days, she's broken, right? She cannot walk. Everything is stiff, right? She meets the coach and I mean, she surrenders. She says that I cannot do this. I try, I try, put my effort. I try my best, but I cannot do this. And the coach looks at the door, and she thought the coach will say, okay, please leave. But the coach tells her, find a way. That's the only thing that the coach tells her, find a way, and leaves. So then she keeps trying, picks her up. 2 years later, she succeeds. She becomes a world champion. The next year, she becomes a world champion again. I think she's by this time 28, 29. She decides that's it for her competition. She wants to train other people, retires and starts doing that. 2 years later, I think she meets her girlfriend. They get married. Her family renounces her for marrying a girl. And so now her life is in a very happy phase where she has a partner. She's achieved things. Suddenly, she gets diagnosed with a critical illness. Out of the blue, everything was going fine. Critical illness, goes to the hospital. Doctor says that you have 15% chances of survival with a trial drug. So a drug that has not been tested. If you sign the contracts that we usually sign, we can try the trial drug on you and you can see. She doesn't have a choice. She says yes. So then she was sharing pictures of her stay in the hospital, like 5 wires, giving IV fluid and stuff. And then at least the initial part, okay, she's fine, but she's totally, I mean, she's critically ill. And then she tells every day in the hospital, because of her identity, which is she can do certain things, she can achieve what she sets out for. She was working out. Her workout was getting down from the bed, walking to the sofa, walking to the door, walking back to the bed. That's what she kept doing, right? Over and over again. Starts getting better and better with some medicines. Then one day she's able to go outside. Keeps walking. 5 months later, probably, she's got at a stage where there was this hill where she would go hiking. So she gets to a stage where she can now go and, let's start climbing the hill. She tries, fails first, probably a couple of days. And then there's one day when she can actually go and climb the hill. So she climbs the hill. And it's very emotional. I always tear up while telling the story. So she climbs the hill, reaches the top, and then she celebrates by saying, I get to live. So that's the journey, right? She says, I get to live. That's the celebration. But the identity was very clear. She was a champion. And that's what saved her in that illness. Most people would have given up. So it's very important that even if our lives are going really well, we prepare. If things even are not a must maybe, or we feel it's good to have, deep down, we feel there's something that we can do. We also feel there's something that we should do, then we must do it. So you can do it. You feel you want to do it. You should do it. Then there is no excuse. You must do it. This is very important because you don't know what's coming. I've tried this. I do this now in general. So if I feel this needs to be done, I don't give myself time. So I don't negotiate with my mind. I feel like this needs to be done, I'll do it. If I feel like I've got to say something in a meeting, I don't give myself time. I'm terribly bad at saying no, cultural thing. So I don't give myself time. If to say something, I will say it. If to take a cold plunge, you don't stand on the water and think, what would be the feeling like? You dive, right? So this is very important. Okay, last two things. So action from here is please decide what outcome you want and what areas you want to improve. That's super important. And realize why it must be a must. Realize what will happen if you stay the same way, not just now, but 5 years, 10 years down the lane. Do you want to be known as that, or would you would you like to go 10 years and think that, oh, this was such a small change I could have made that could have shifted anything, and not do it? So it's very important you take that decision. Now, there are a couple of things that are needed to sustain change. If you forget everything that we spoke about and do one thing in your life, you'll probably improve a lot. And I didn't talk about it yet, but I'll talk about it now. This is the line. It's very important. P is power. The point is, who do you hang out with daily? Who are your 5 friends? Who are your colleagues who you hang out with? Do they challenge you? Can you trust them? Do you get support? Or is it somebody with whom, you can have a banter and that's it? Who do you hang out with? Who are your friends decides where you will be. My friend who I referred to a few minutes back on the treadmill, right? He's a bodybuilder, super disciplined. Just because he's my friend and I've been friends with him for probably 7-8 months now, or maybe a year, my physical body has changed significantly. I go to the gym. I'm a very extroverted person. I love having discussions. We do sets. Of course, he's doing more weights than I am. When I strike up a conversation, after 5 to 10 seconds, he says, yeah. Let's do the set. It's humiliating, but it matters. One day we are doing tricep reps. I've never done push-ups with weights on my back, right? So he says, okay, we'll do weighted push-ups for tricep. Okay. So he does it with 10 kilos. I do it with 5 kilos. Then next time I'm there, he's putting 10. I'm telling him, hey, it's 10 kilos, 10 kilos. I said, yeah, just do it. I'm able to do it, right? But me, myself, I've never put the 10 kilos on myself because the mind tries to keep me safe. So that's where proximity and being in the right group is very important. And that's where this concept that I keep trying to, or I will implement today, is the triad. So I want us to be in a group that is growth focused, that can add value to us and that can challenge us, right? So in this room, we are different because you looked at your wheels of life. Some people are really ahead of you in finance. Some people are really ahead of you when it comes to physical body. So they have done something that has got them there. So they know the strategy, they know the recipe, right? Let's say Susanna bakes great cakes. I've never baked a cake in my life. Can I bake a great cake? Yes. I need the recipe. But is it all if she tells me, okay, use flour, I don't know what goes in an egg, flour, sugar, egg, whatever it is, and make a cake? No, it's not enough. She has to tell me what I need to do, where I need to buy the flour from, what kind of eggs, how long do I do it. So you need that strategy. And that strategy, a lot of things is present in the room. And again, I feel very blessed with one thing. I have come in contact with really nice people. You're one of them, again, in different areas. So I work in the corporate world. So a lot of people who are doing really well in their careers. Physical health. I have a lot of coaches with me as my peers who work in different things. A lot of them work in mindfulness, tantra, there is somatic things, there's breathing, there is yoga. So what we want to do is we want to be in that surrounding that gets us there, because it's not very easy to sustain momentum on your own, right? So what we will do today is, we are a bit short of time, but I really want to get it done, is we want to create triads, which are groups of 3. And these 3 people will do a weekly check-in just to see if what they want as their outcomes is still their outcome, if they're on the path, if there's something that's really bothering them, right? Just to stay on track. Let's say an airplane starts from Amsterdam and is trying to go to Dubai, for a lack of other places. How many of you like Dubai? Oh, not for us. Good. So let's say it leaves, right? Now let's say at the beginning it goes off route by 5 degrees. You realize after 100 200, 500 miles. It's a totally different place just because it started off a bit. So you need people who brings you back to the target or back to your course. So that's what we will do for the triads. I want to leave you with two things before we go into the triad formation: consciousness, awareness, and reality, so that you get a lot of time back in your life. Now listen to this very carefully. It's a very tricky concept. Took me 2 years to understand. I understood a little more a couple of weeks back by reading something. So I'm going to share this. It is, again, it's easy to, like listen to this, but it's difficult to integrate this. Don't worry if you cannot integrate this now. It takes a bit time. When you do it, it's gold. So here's the point. Everybody in this room is aware, conscious. So what does consciousness mean? Checking in on your state. So let's say you're stressed, you immediately know you're stressed. Let's say you're jealous, you know you're jealous. You're feeling low, you know you're low. How many of you are 50-60% of the time aware in this room? You know something has happened that's, right? So almost everybody. Now the question is, once you know that something is off, what do you do? Very quickly, a couple of people, but it has to be short. Observe, sit with it, observe. Anyone else?
Pray.
Sorry?
Pray.
Pray,
Understand.
understand where it's coming from, right? That's pretty much it. That's usually what is known. So I'm going to ask you to step to the next level, and it's going to be a bit unsettling because I'm going to do what you have. I'm going to ask you to stop doing what you have been doing. So observing, I'm not going to ask you to stop doing that. And again, it's something that I suggest. Please take it, mold it your way, right? The point is when you're watching yourself, right? When you're observing yourself, who are you observing? Who are you observing?
Your emotions.
Your emotions. But who?
Third party individual.
Is it a third party individual? Is it? It's you, right?
Yeah, but still, I will try to jump out of it.
You would try to jump out of it. My question is, who are you observing? Yourself, right? Now you can call yourself third party, fourth party, 15th party, communist party. That's different. But you're observing yourself, right? And who is observing?
Yeah.
Sorry? So yeah, don't worry. Hey, you're observing. So the point is it's the same entity. I'm observing myself, right? I know something is wrong. I'm observing myself. The point is, do I need to have a conversation? Do I need to have a label on what's going on? Do I need to analyze? Do I need to take a helicopter view and see myself? It's the same entity. This is the next level where you can instantly observe, be aware, know, and move on without doing anything. Because the observer is the observed here. Because there is no conflict and no dialogue, it can happen in a flash. You fall out of state, you observe it immediately, you get out without even trying to get out because it's all internally managed, right? Think about it, try it. We'll talk about it later. So the observer is the observed. Now I'll take you one more level higher, right? Again, process it in your own good time. I go out and I see a beautiful sunset. What is being observed? The sunset. You're not observing yourself. You're observing the sunset. Let's make it a rose. Clear object. You're observing a rose, right? Who is being observed? The rose. Who is observing? You. In that moment, which is the present, you're observing the rose, right? The rose is very beautiful. The rose has beautiful petals. The moment I say this, I'm talking about something in the past. I saw the rose, there was some information that came into my head. Then I processed words where the rose is beautiful, it has nice shape. These are words which I've been taught, which I know. So I'm describing the rose. But I'm describing the rose in the past because that's when I saw it and I felt it. When you're observing the rose, it's that moment where you and the rose are the same. Because there is this connection where you and the rose or the sunset are all are together in that instant. So again, you don't need time or words or labels to feel it. It's very instantaneous and it's very powerful. Rose was an example. You can do with everything. You're talking to a person at that moment, you connect to that person like that. So this is complete presence, complete integration. Very difficult to do, but I throw it at you. So then the present is a line that divides the past and the future. However, there's no place of thinking here. You can't think. The moment you're thinking about something, it's in the past. The moment you think of potentials, it's in the future. Looking at the rose again can give me joy is in the future. So this is a very thin line. The longer you're here, you have way more mind space. It's magical, right? You have way more mind space here. You do not have conflict, which frees up your energy. This is where time becomes immaterial, probably. So try this out. See if you can totally integrate with people, things, stuff without labeling, without analyzing, without becoming a third person. Okay, I'll stop here. Any quick questions on this? Does it sound possible? It's difficult, right? Try it out. It's magical.
It's something you can train, eh?
Like everything. Where intellect comes in is I feel that many of you can relate that this is possible. That's a big start, right? I'm not saying I'm able to do this all the time, right? There are times when I can do it, it's magical. Maybe, I don't know, some people, it's normal. Kattola, maybe. Yes.
Just quickly, in my own experience, it depends on what, like, I went through rewriting to learn something. I learned it in that process happened.
Yeah.
And integrated.
Yeah.
But then I faced new challenges in my own development, and then the intellect came back in.
Correct.
Because I haven't learned yet how to.
Correct. Correct. So, because I use the word reality, what can give you even more time? This is tricky because you understand this, you have a lot more time. Then I don't know what you want to do with your time. There is reality and there is theory. Ironic, I'm saying this after telling you a lot of theory. If you can keep the reality and throw out the theory, you have a lot of time. I will explain. Reality is I'm hungry, right? Reality is I'm feeling sleepy. It's reality. Reality is I'm in pain. There is no doubting reality. Reality is there is a man and he is a very beautiful man. I see a man and he's a very beautiful, handsome man. Or a woman, a very beautiful woman. I see that woman or that man and I feel he or she is very beautiful is reality. Now here's where theory comes in, right? Am I staring at that man or woman? Am I needy? Is it right? Is it wrong? How long can I stare? What would the woman feel or man feel if he feels that I'm staring at that person? Why do I like that person? Does he look like my ex-girlfriend, boyfriend? Theories. The reality is there's somebody you like that person, that's it. Or you see that person, you like it. The more you can separate, keep theory out, the more time you have. However, this is super difficult because we are talking of years and years and years of conditioning through family, religion, culture, country, peers, right? Keep this in mind. See if you can. Once you do it, you'll see that probably 80% of what you're thinking is useless. You don't need to. You can just act out of reality. It happened with me yesterday, like I got up on the metro from Central Station and there's this probably Middle Eastern lady who was sitting there and I got up, I look at that woman and she looks at me and we are looking at each other for a good 10 seconds. 10 seconds is a long time to look at a stranger. So she's on that side. I sit here. She's looking at me. I'm looking at her. Right. And I wish I was not thinking. I'll tell you. And then because I'm conscious, right? First thing is, have I seen her before? I always forget faces. Does she know me? Oh, she's still looking. I'm still looking. My God, what are the others thinking that we are looking at each other? And then I break contact. Or she broke contact. I don't know. But in a real world, we can look, right? I'm going to try it next time, I promise. Again, now I'm pushing myself to do it, so it might not be natural, but this is what I mean. With that, any final questions? We covered a lot of areas. I will summarize it because some of us like to know how things are connected. So I'm going to summarize that for you, but in general, any quick questions? Summary, just 2 sections remaining. 10 minutes is fine, or is it? So 10 more minutes is fine? Thank you. Because I think Susanna is the only one who has was a super time crunch. Lafra's 10 minutes is fine. So, coming back to our big picture, we started with state. So, I spoke a lot about state, also about how you can try this new consciousness experiment, if I may say so. I did not talk about this. I've spoken about this a few times before, but it's good to know. When you're aware that something has shifted, you don't need to analyze, but you probably will, because that's your habit. There are 3 things that you can do to change your state. One is physiology. Most people think that they can rationalize their way out of a compromised state. They think that, okay, what has happened logically, analyze, and get into a puddle. A very good thing to do is physiology, changing physiology. I think I'll take Gemma's example. I was here with a friend and then he was super tired and she was going for a walk with the dog. And then she said, oh, I feel like blah, this and that. And then it's also probably drizzling a bit like always. And then she takes Chloe and she goes for a walk. And me and my friend, we are talking about state and exactly this point, physiology. She comes back 15 minutes later. It's a different person. She is high, full of energy, like you give me something, I'm ready for it. So listen to music. You don't have to walk the dog. Listen to music and change your physiology. It's going to change your state. If you have to rationalize, there are 2 things that needs to be done. One is change your story. There is a story. And that story is, she's always mean to me, he's always mean to me, I am not good enough. How could I do it again? How could you do it again? We talk to ourselves in different person. Sometimes it's I, sometimes it's you. I also do it as we. I mean, how could we do it? So me and I, and that's where the differentiation and conflicts come in, right? So you can also feel it very quickly what story is going through without having a dialogue. So change the story. The third one is the language. And by language, how could you be this careless? Why do you always have to make a mistake? Why are you always late? Change the language. Language is very powerful because it silently hypnotizes you. You don't even know what is going on with these language things, right? So shift, slowly shift. I know I'm very certain that I will be late 70% times in my life still after being very wise. So I'll say that, yeah, I'm trying to improve my time management, right? So just be a bit nice with the language thing.
You're trying or you must.
That's one thing, yeah. It's just so often. I mean, I'm late so often. So I might say I must. So good start. Maybe I must reach office on time. That could be a good start. Make it clear, right? The outcome. Thank you. I will take that. I must be on commitment. I must be on office in time, at office in time. Cool. Okay. These three things. So we spoke about this. Instinct, mind, different layers. You have to balance your instinct first. Then you can balance your mind. We spoke about how to deal with the mind, like don't create conflict. Once these two levels are balanced, there's something called intuition. In intuition, things happen disproportionately in a rewarding manner. So intuition is where, you know what intuition means? You get these answers, these words that I did not believe in is really happening in my life. I'm very happy. Manifestation. It's crazy I'm just sharing this with you because it's a closed circle. I am actually careful of what I wish for nowadays. It's just crazy. Stefan, maybe also for you, probably it happened, but I'm sick. There's a huge, very important meeting on Friday. On Thursday, I feel, oh no, it's a new job. It's the most important meeting. It's been planned for months. Thursday evening, 6 p.m., I get a message. The meeting's been cancelled. It has to be moved. There's a huge thing, something. And this is 1 out of 10 things I'm telling you about. It's just crazy. I don't know what, but I still know, like life is going to come for me again. So, but I try to be ready because I know in life you look for better quality problems. Our biggest addiction is problems. We love problems. Do you realize this? When we are in our mind space, we love thinking about problems because we focus on what we don't have as opposed to what we have. But anyway, we are growth minded people, so that's also important. I will not go too much deeper here, but you understand this. The past has created your identity, which we discussed about. We discussed your wheel of life. You know your areas. It's very important to create your new identity. I have a small gift for you, which I'll give you after. It's a card. It's this card. Mason Magnetic is the name of the organization that I've started because I feel that people give more when they are satisfied. So I want to give people more so that they can reach certain levels and give more. That's my overall vision mission. So in this card, what I would really love you to do is take a marker, not a dot pen, ball pen, but a marker, and think of an identity that you want. Take 5 minutes, think of an identity, write it down, and take the card with you. See if you can stay consistent with your identity. You feel you want to change your identity. I have another card for you. So this is something that we will do. And so let's see if your new identity can drive you. And then the next exercise is identity is one thing that we decide to do, and one small action that we will take today or tomorrow. One small action. Absolutely your choice, your area can be a small action. Suggesting to make who will you call up and forgive. We already forget everybody. Maybe he thinks of something. Call up somebody and say that I really love you. Right? Just a suggestion. So one small action. And then 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, see how you want to plan. We didn't have time for it today. Probably we'll do it in the next session. That would be very interesting to see. Because most people overestimate what they can do in a week or a month or a year and really underestimate what they can do in a decade. What if you keep going strong for a decade? Where do you land? Right? Okay. Thank you very much. We are going to go into triad formation now. That's the last thing, and then we celebrate. Any questions? Sorry, I spoke a lot. Okay, thank you very much. We will now start forming the triads.